And welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. Nick Teodoro here. I am one half of your host. Joining me is my buddy, the voice, Joshua Joseph, for a very, very special new concept that we are bringing to you. Joining our two shows together, the Your Howse Wrestling Podcast and Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour, we are bringing you a very special new show concept, Mount Rushmore Mondays, where we talk about our own personal favorites, our four favorites that should be on Wrestling Mount Rushmore, but we want to hear from all of you. Josh, welcome in. I want to chat with you. Thanks for doing this with me. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, no problem, Nick. How goes it? We're getting ready to discuss some favorites of ours. Before we get into it, we care about your opinions, but we don't care about your opinions towards our opinions of ours. So I think that's a good tone to set right out the gate. But yeah, this is going to be fun. I kind of can't wait to get into this and see what everybody's brain is thinking and where your favorites land, because there's so many generations that we know of our different fan bases for our separate podcast. So I'm kind of interested in seeing what people have to say out there, where their minds are going to go.
Well, that's what's so fun about this is that, again, different generations, it's completely 100% subjective. It's basically who is your top four. It could be a number of different reasons, industry changers. It could be rest inside the ring, promo. There's a number of different reasons why anyone would pick their Mount Rushmore. So that's what we want to hear from all of you. At some point in time later in the show, we're going to open up the phone lines, call in, let us know who is in your Mount Rushmore, who has to be there. If you agree with us on some of them, if you don't, perfectly fine. That's what this is all about. So it's gonna be a fun concept for everybody. So welcome to Mount Rushmore Mondays. Josh, I'm pumped.
Oh, I'm pumped too, my friend. My Jersey Pike friend.
Yes, Nikki is already. So she found out, obviously, my co-host on Friday nights for the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour, my lovely tag team partner in life, my wife. We discussed this, but she did not tell me her four, so I'm curious to see it, and I'm sure we would disagree.
Oh, I'm sure too. And you know what, Nikki, this is Monday. This is me and Nick time, so quit trying to horn in on it.
I know she's ruining.
No.
Course done. We can play. But anyway, let's start. Josh, as co-host, I will let you start with who is your first choice for your Mount Rushmore.
Well, for my
again,
my first choice of Mount Rushmore is a guy that what you said, he changed wrestling for me. He took me out of the 80s and early 90s wrestling in which I knew, and he's been a homicidal, genocidal, suicidal. He was a madman. He was Sabu, the one and only. He's definitely my number one. This dude, again, he changed wrestling for me. I thought of it as Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man. And then I witnessed Sabu take on Terry Funk and Born to be Wired, and understood that wrestling was about to change for my young mind. And and throughout the years, this is how we connected. I actually got to interview Sabu, speak to him with my co-host House over there at IYH. And then I actually developed a friendship with the dude and was his producer 2 months before he ultimately passed. But yeah, I started, I fell in love with this dude. He changed wrestling for me. And then I was able to think up a small friendship with him in the small amount of time he had on this earth. So that he's always got a special heart or a special place in my heart. And usually will always be my number one. His last action figure still hangs in my studio. It'll never leave. It's on a wall by itself with some things of his throughout the years.
No, I could totally agree with you on that. I think that's a fair assessment because he's a guy who changed wrestling in so many ways. Like, you talk about being innovative inside the ring, and we talked about, like, there's a number of different things you can look into. and as to why you'd put someone on your Mount Rushmore, and I can see the justification of, in your eyes, like at least in my eyes, of why he should be there, right? Like he's done so much inside the ring, changing things. Like no one knew, like the triple jumps and moves with the chairs and the innovate, like the level of, I think you said this earlier, like violence that he brought, and I am going to use the word realism, right? Realisticness to professional wrestling with ECW, it wouldn't have been the same for sure, 100%. So, no, I could totally see that.
And
hey,
over
Rusin's chiming in.
How goes it? And over in Japan, before he caught fame over here, they said he developed his own style, and it was the Sabu style. And they were over there, like that's when he went over there and started doing it. More guys over there started adapting his style to their next level of creating for a character.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and then like I only wish, because I know Paul Heyman talks about this all the time with Sabu. He's like, if he had more time and more of a main, bigger promotion, like he would have been a world champion, like probably.
Oh yeah,
as big if not bigger than like RVD was in WWE, I would think.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me on that one.
Josh, for me, I'm going a little bit more maybe traditional, to so to speak, mainstream. I look at when I'm looking at my Mount Rushmore and who has to be on it. I think about mainstream appeal, crossover to just the general audience who weren't necessarily fans or niche fans of pro wrestling. And to me, you can't have a Mount Rushmore without Hulk Hogan, one of the most popular wrestlers of all time. Again, the TV, the cross appeal, I just remember as a kid growing up, like hulking up was just like something that became like mainstream in my house. When I'd get angry at my brother, my siblings, they're picking on me, I would just Hulk up. So it was just like, and it was just one of the first things that got me into professional wrestling was Hulk Hogan. And he had his feuds with, Flair, Piper, who you name it, Savage. It doesn't really matter who he feuded with. He helped make that person and elevate that person to a whole other level. He elevated the business to a level it could have never seen without him. Then you look at the NWO and everything he did there with creating that stable, which you could argue with Eric Bischoff created the whole Attitude Era. You could make the statement that he was impactful in 2 generations of pro wrestling, maybe even 3.
Yeah, I mean, Hulk Hogan's the reason why I loved professional wrestling to start. I mean, I said my prayers, I ate my vitamins, I hulked up. I actually had a great uncle of mine, Uncle Jack, and up until he passed away a couple years ago, he still called me Little Hulk. And that was because of my love of Hulk Hogan back in the day. He didn't really get into the other wrestlers that I enjoyed after Hulk Hogan, but Hulk Hogan was still, we can say what we want about the dude. The dude made bad choices, and we'll leave it at that with all the insight of it, but he made bad choices. And, some of those people though, that we think he made bad choices with have been on record to say, he's not the guy that you've all painted him out to be. I can understand some of the shit, but he's still Hulk Hogan. I mean, he's still, without him, what would wrestling look like legitimately? Would we still be a territorial faction? Like, I mean, he changed wrestling.
Exactly, like 100%. Like you can't you separate. We always talk about that. You separate the artist from the person, and that's essentially the way I always look at Hulk Hogan. In that vein, Josh, you're up number 2 on your Mount Rushmore.
All right, so we're going number 2 again. This dude. Now, when I was a young kid, let's say middle school age, I had this thing where I wanted to be like all the guys I was listening to on the music, NWA, all that, so I dressed like that. And then all of a sudden in my wrestling world, this mountain of a man who I knew of came out as Farouk, but we know him as Ron Simmons. This dude, Ron Simmons, is a game changer in wrestling. He, first off, the dude started Nation of Domination. And the fact that he would come out and put these guys in his place, in their places, and still like find a way to have some type of, at the time it was purely black power going on with the Nation of Domination. That was the stick. That was what they were doing. And then that also allowed DX to play in very weird worlds. But what I loved about all of this was the story that Ron Simmons told behind Farouk. While he was Farouk, and we love a good faction, Nation of Domination was one of the best to be around in that era. I mean, to have D'Lo Brown as one of your henchmen, and to see that big frog splash he would do, to have Mark Henry as another henchman. I mean, dude, come on. Mark Henry had a Hall of Fame career after being around Ron Simmons. But then to go into the APA and things like that, like, I loved the evolution of Ron Simmons from when I found him when I was young, watching old clips with my grandpa and my uncles and things like that, to seeing him every Monday night and as a Nation member, a leader actually, and then to have that big feud with Rock. I mean, without the Farouk and Rock feud, where's the Rock at? Do we know him as a heel? Do we know him, so I love Ron Simmons. I love all the things he did. Yeah, I would say he is underrated. I would have put him, showcase him more. That's what I would do with Ron.
Wasn't he the first African-American world champion in WCW too? Or something along those lines?
I believe
African American champion. I'm like on Wikipedia trying to verify that.
I want to say it was either WCW or maybe NWA.
It was definitely WCW that he did it in, because yeah. So in '92, yeah, this is what happened. Yeah, I knew I remember this right, because I think Steven and I talked about this at one point in time. He was the first black man to win a major professional wrestling world title. He won the WCW World Championship and he defeated Vader. Yeah. So yeah, like, just talk about, yeah, and your list, right? Talking about innovators, people transcending history. This is a great, segue into, like, Ron Simmons. Like, you're talking about your fondest memories, which agreeably mine as well, right? Are his run in WWF, right? Yeah. In that 15-20 year run, but he did so much even before that in WCW, right? And that's just so crazy, his contributions to the industry.
He's a proud father of wrestling. I mean, like, for what we watch and what we like as wrestling, if you don't know the Ron Simmons history, I would highly recommend going and check it out.
Oh, for sure. Josh, I'm sticking with my theme here, but you're talking about different eras. So for me, number 2, in any particular order, I'm going the most popular wrestler of all time, ironically. More popular than Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Again, everything throughout the Attitude Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that Vince McMahon, the corporation, that whole storyline that was created, which centered in real life. Like, everyone hated their boss, hates their boss, right? And, like, wants to stake to him. That whole storyline was such a great money-making storyline. All the evolution of his character throughout, the 90s and then into the early aughts of what he became, even the heel turn that he did, right? All that stuff, the Owen match at WrestleMania, like, he had so many moments and contributions that led to him being the most popular wrestler of all time. And that's not even including, I'm sure you could touch on, like, his time in ECW, right? And his time in WCW beforehand. He was a great in-ring worker that helped put over a lot of people. So to me, Stone Cold Steve, you wouldn't have a Mount Rushmore without Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, I completely agree with you on that one. Stone Cold Steve Austin changed the game. I mean, he capitalized on a Bible quote and changing it up to fit his character and fit the story. And then from there, it was just off to the races. But like you said, ECW, that's where I first seen him. Um, that's where he made it memorable to watch what he's doing. And I like to go back to the ECW Steve matches. Not many were there, but there were a few. And you can see the evolution of Steve Austin and the start of it. And I would like to argue that I do think Heyman is definitely a big hand in Steve Austin's career. I mean, he was with him in WCW, he was with him in ECW, and then he got him to the big show. Like
That's a fair point.
without those promotions, WWF wouldn't have been looking at Steve.
Right, no, agreed. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, how many people wouldn't have gotten a look without Paul Heyman giving them at least the time of day? Yeah, Nikki agrees.
Yeah, he's dude, Steve Austin, and this was an energy back then. Nick, I know you know it, but watching those Monday Night Raws with Steve Austin coming out and just who's he gonna fuck up tonight? Who's he gonna take out? And they, like we said, they capitalized a lot on that boss hatred and things, and I think that was genius. You have to credit the man, the devil behind the scenes, and say that he really capitalized on all these things that Austin took a swing on.
Yeah, for sure. As more people are chiming into the chat, let us know who's in your top 4. We're going to open up the phone lines in a little bit. Let us know who's on your Mount Rushmore, who can't be there. Do you agree with some of the lists? I got Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin on mine so far. Josh has Sabu and the last one, sorry, and Ron Simmons on his. Let us know. We want to hear from all of you. But yeah, again, I just felt like you can't do that. You can't do a Mount Rushmore without Stone Cold.
Very true.
All right, Josh, number 3.
All right, so fans, get your jock straps on and get ready to protect, because this one might be a take that people don't like.
Hold on, let me see if I still have the drum roll. If I can find it quick enough.
Well,
I don't think I'll be able to. Nah, forget it.
I definitely look, when we talked about this show, this is our personal Mount Rushmores. And for me, this guy, from the moment I seen him take on Eddie Guerrero in ECW to me watching him every Monday, every Thursday, anytime they had a Saturday show in WCW, I was hooked. And I always wanted to see this guy. He's from our brothers up north. He is the rabid Wolverine, Chris Benoit. But yes, I look, I understand where we're at with what has happened with Chris and his past, but that's not in the ring. It's horrible. I completely hated hearing that this happened, and then to find out all the things we found out about it. But in the ring, Chris Benoit was one of the best to ever fucking lace him up. And he was a smaller statue guy. So he gave me some type of sense of I can relate. And the fact that him and his best friend won world titles at Mania, dude, going back and still watching that hug, still watching those tears, still seeing those images, still chokes me up, because that was such a change in wrestling for your world title holders. They weren't the biggest guys, but they were the guys who gave you 150, 120, whatever you needed. They were giving it to you. And that includes Eddie Guerrero, but
300 nights a year,
dude. And Chris Benoit, for me, man, like, he may not have been the best on a microphone, but he didn't need to be. The dude just, he had this presence about him that you're going to be injured. You may not die and you might win the fight, but he is going to put an injury on you that is going to last for your lifetime. And that's what I loved about him. The flying headbutt, yes, we've realized that it probably gave him way too many concussions throughout his career, but that was a devastating move. And then the cross. Ooh, I've slapped that on my sister while she was watching Full House before. You know, that's all you do, man. And she had to tap. She had to tap, Nick. She tapped.
No, I totally understand. Like when you talk about like in-ring technical ability, he's arguably the best to ever do it. Chris Benoit, understandably so, is in that group. And it's what's interesting about the whole concept is like you wonder, like, you know, was he just, again, like so many other wrestlers, just in the wrong time? He ended up winning the world title, so he did end up getting his moment, right? But when you look at guys like today, in today's wrestling, like Ilya Dragunov and Sami Zayn doing these open challenges, and it's based off of, you know, these, look how great these guys are in the ring. I could only imagine, yeah, like the dream matches or like Gunther's, like you could have had with, you know, Chris Benoit in his prime with these guys. So I totally understand where you come from when you're looking at a purely, you know, technical perspective.
Oh yeah,
wrestling in ring, completely agree. Yeah, he could definitely, you know, fit, and you could definitely make the case for him to be on this Mount Rushmore.
Well, and I will say, Perk Angle, he was a toss up with this one, but I went with Benoit. Peak Perk Angle, love it.
I could see, yeah, and that is a tough one, because I had, and I'm sure, this is one, like I had a couple that when you narrow it down to 4, it makes it so difficult to some extent, because, you know, when I go into like my next one, I kind of package them together, because when we talk about like people that we've seen and you know, growing up and who impacted the industry, like I'm sticking with Attitude Era and The Rock, and it's similar to Hulk Hogan. It's that mainstream crossover appeal, right? Like his stardom and popularity and what he was doing in the ring. There was nobody you could have argued, and even to this day, right? He made more money in movies than Hulk Hogan has. His stardom has eclipsed what Hulk Hogan was. Hulk Hogan set the paved the way, right? And then The Rock just smashed through that whole, you know, box office, you know, cinema area and mainstream appeal for everybody. And he was unbelievable in the ring. And ever since then, people have been trying to mimic him. Like for how many years did at least me personally, I felt like John Cena was imitating The Rock in a lot of ways. And so that's why, to me, I know they're both similar, same era, but that Attitude Era boomed because of these two, The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, their feud together and how they were able to elevate everybody else around them.
Yeah. I mean, well, Nick, you could actually argue all 3 are big responsibles for the Attitude Era, because without Hulk Hogan being over on WCW, who the fuck would Vince have to battle against? Who would he have to get better than? Who would he have to beat eventually in the ratings? Because he was being beat there for a little bit there by WCW.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. The Rock is definitely up there. He changed the game. We've seen he knows how to write the next chapter in his book. We go from Rocky Maivia, which was god awful, like that. I
still have that figure somewhere. Dude, that stupid, like Island Boy kind of deal. Like,
dude, I get it, and he tried to be face right out the gate, and that's a hard position to put yourself into in the wrestling world. But I am so glad they pivoted from that. And like I said, you know, we went from The Rock being Rocky Maivia to the Nation, and then all of a sudden he's this Brahma Bull, and then he goes into Hollywood and things like that. The one thing he'll never have over Hogan, unless he does Mr. Nanny too, he wasn't Mr. Nanny. That was a good movie when I was a kid, Nick.
I like that movie. That movie was bad, with the guy with the iron head. You know what I'm talking about? Right? Yeah, the big, not the bad, but yeah. What the hell's his name? Oh,
I don't know.
Now I want to know.
It's a B-rated movie. You're not supposed to know their names.
Yes, knowing like dumb, not really pop culture. Well, I guess it's pop culture trivia. Andy Pendleton was in that movie too.
Oh,
David
Andy
Johansen,
Pendleton. Oh,
who
David
also
Joe?
yes. So yeah, David Joe played him, and what's this guy's name? Hold on, as we get derailed, but still, this is important.
Fans, we're here looking up Mr. Nanny facts.
This
Yes,
is very important. This could be a trivia question. You never know. This could be $1 million trivia question.
Yeah, for one of those rigged trivia games Nick likes to throw out on his
Of course,
show.
Ed Leslie was in that movie. Where the hell was he? Oh yeah, because they had a bunch of random wrestlers at some points in that.
See, this is what happens when you go down the Mr. Nanny rabbit hole. You're sitting there looking. Yeah, you're lost. You're scared. You need a flashlight. There might be a mongoose.
He didn't even show up in the cast list. That makes no sense. He was
there you go.
Tommy Thanatos. That was his name.
that was the big reveal, guys.
Tommy Thanatos.
Get out of here. That's made up.
So listen, when someone wins like $1,000, $10,000 wrestling trivia, because they knew that, they're gonna cite Mount Rushmore Mondays is where they learned that.
I bet they will. Fingers crossed on that one. That old Jeopardy question.
All right, who's your fourth? Who rounds out your Mount Rushmore, Josh?
All right, so everybody that has been named so far, you kind of have to give credit to this guy. I know from my great-grandmother and great-grandfather owning a bar in Fort Wayne, and when the wrestlers would come through, this man would frequent their bar. And to me, he is one of the original badasses. Without this man, you don't have your Lesnars, you don't have your breakers, you don't have your monsters among men. You don't have this, because this guy showed everybody how to have that attitude, how to have that presence about you, that I'm willing to fuck you up. And he is the one, the only Harley Race. That man, look at that face. Tell me you're not fucking with this dude. And
anyone with mutton chops you're not messing with.
Exactly. I did like his matches because they were hard hitting. They made me believe that he was beating the shit out of whoever was across from him. But also in those times that he did go to this bar that my great grandparents owned, he became friends with my great grandmother and grandfather. He's so much friends that my great grandmother had stories of Harley grabbing her ass while she was giving him drinks. And so, and my great grandfather being like, well, that's what you do sometimes, it was Harley Race. What was I going to say to him? I was like, well, I guess, Grandpa, little fucking,
you don't mess with the king.
Cucking. Yeah, exactly.
You should say thank you, my liege.
Exactly. But the dude, like, seriously, the guys that we're looking at on this Mount Rushmore, even in your world, over on your side, man, without Harley Race being the guy he was, do those guys know to take those pauses and play to the crowd? Do those guys know to be just a mean son of a bitch when the cameras aren't rolling and there's no fans in there and you got to protect your territory? Because I'm telling you right now, this was your Jesse James of the fucking wrestling world back in territory days. This was the guy that if you seen walk through those back doors and you were running into his territory, you might want to fucking start packing up the ring, because shit's about to get real. Harley Race was no dude to fuck with. And that's what I love about wrestling. Legitimate badass dudes going out there and entertaining us. And Harley Race, you are, like Nikki said, my king. You are the guy for me when it comes to everybody I picked. Because of you, Chris Benoit had his presence. Because of you, Ron Simmons was able to just be a big son of a bitch and beat down people. And because of you, Sabu was able to be homicidal, genocidal, suicidal. Mix that with a little bit of Shiki, and ooh, baby, you got a world title in my eyes.
I love it. I love it. I love how your Mount Rushmore comes together in like a very cohesive form.
You
Everyone
got to
leads.
always finish. If you're not finishing, you're edging, and then you're weird.
If you're not first, you're last.
If you're not first, you're last too.
All right. So for me, rounding it out, I got to go my personal favorite because I just feel like, and it's going to be a very, I feel like Attitude Era heavy list. Shawn Michaels. How many matches did the Heartbreak Kid compete in? Revolutionize a ladder match, Hell in a Cell. He was the first at. Then you talk about the groups that he was in. You know, DX and being in that, being part of that for so long and elevating all the, you know, Triple H and all the people within that group, and then, you know, literally breaking his back, retiring, and he had a Hall of Fame career where you could have argued he could have been on this list already at that point in time, and coming back for another 8 years plus years and having that run with you know, reforming DX with Triple H, having a world title run. There was so much that he was able to do, even having that match with John Cena, like over the course of his career, being able to put everybody over. Exactly, Nikki, the original Super Kick Party. Cat chime in. Everyone's starting to chime in with some of their, yeah, we'll get to it in a second. But yeah, to me, HBK had to be on this list. And then you talk also about like contributions to the business, like now that he's running NXT. Everyone that's coming up, all this great talent, like this influx of female wrestling, like, and just great young wrestlers in general that are working under his tutelage. It's super exciting to see. I think you have to put him on there. And so it's a little bit of a mix of a lot of in-ring and then a little bit extra of what he's done in the last, 5 to maybe 10 years at NXT. I don't know.
Yeah,
to me, and that's why I kind of round that out.
No, that I can understand that pick. Shawn Michaels, not only with his in-ring career, was very influential in the era that we love, but like you said, nowadays, look what he's putting out there. I mean, NXT is one of the hottest main event semi-pro leagues out there. They're fabulous, and you know, again, the devil behind the scenes created this monster, but I also think he created the monster that kind of made Shawn for a few years not look brightly upon. And I think, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't in this situation. And it's always led me to wonder what Shawn would have been without the Vince hand, because we know he was a great worker. He was a fabulous worker. I mean, Shawn Michaels was poetry in motion in the ring back in those days. Like, and his essence and the way he had this character developed was perfect for a degenerate group like DX. And then to line him up with Trips and China, I personally like some of my favorite moments are with Shawn getting behind China when he started shit with people and putting up his fist like he was an old timey fighter. You know what you remember?
Yeah,
and China
exactly.
just standing there, and you know, Shawn Michaels is legit one of my favorite human beings to ever lace him up. And it really sucks that he had such a difficult part in his career when he was so amazing at what he did. And he gave his body for us, but to come back for those 8 years and do what he did, retiring Ric Flair, breaking up DX, rejoining DX, doing all that stuff. Like he's given us so much more than we could ever repay him for. And that's what I love about Shawn Michaels.
Love it, Josh. All right, Josh. Well, we went through our Mount Rushmore. We told everybody, who's on ours and why. We want to hear from all of you. Open up the phone lines, put the link in there. I know Kat threw out hers. Kat, if you want to call in, let us know. Read off. She's got Steamboat, Inoki, Flair, and Michaels. I thought about Ric Flair too. Ric Flair, after I did, I was like, maybe Ric Flair, like, I was torn between like the Flair, like where to put Flair, because he had that mainstream appeal too, because there's so much, like, even as we were talking about, like, you were talking about like the Ron, like the whole rapper thing, like a lot of rappers took their influence off Ric Flair. But so yeah, it was tough to kind of, I felt guilty leaving him off the list, but I had to get my HBK on there.
Yeah, well, and I think Flair just needs to just be a grandpa now. I love the dude. Ric Flair was a phenom back in the day, dude. Like, the dude, he was one of my favorites. When I remember going to my first WCW show, it was a Thunder, and my best friend at the time, his uncle drove the ring for Thunder back and forth. So he got us tickets and we got to go back there. And I've been inches away from Ric Flair. And back then, I'm telling you, Nick, that energy is real.
Yeah.
What he had back then, he made me feel like I was getting ready to buy Rolexes at 13 and fly on private jets. Like, the dude had an energy. I debated him too. But my list, and until we get callers in, I'll explain a little bit of my list with all of this. It's my personal list of hard hitting guys who made me want to watch their matches and see what they were doing. No matter what promotion was behind them, I still went and watched them. So when I come to these guys and I go back to this, I still seek out the Vice documentaries they do, The Dark Side of Wrestling, when I know there's going to be a mention of Harley Race in there, because I mean, I'm not going to see anything new. What the fuck new am I going to see of Harley Race? So I like hearing those stories, and his are usually fucking out there, man. When they talk about that dude, he is wild.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, Josh, we got a caller on the line. Let's see who's his top 4. Our buddy from overseas, Reese. Let's bring him in. Reese, give me one second here. Reese, you're a little light. Hold on, let me mess with your mic here. There we go. There we go. Let's see.
Yeah,
say something.
You should hear me.
There we go. We got it.
What's
so what do you think, Reese? Nothing. We're doing well. Doing well. I'm curious. So what do you think? Bret Hart.
4-time.
Bret Hart, Owen Hart, British Bulldog.
Yeah.
Natty Night.
No, wait, no. I mean, I could argue for him on it too. I mean, really
it's not a. I know.
Yeah, you probably could. To be fair, you probably could. No. To be fair, when it comes to the Hall of Fame, I'd say maybe 2 or 3 are permanently on mine. There's always 1 or 2 who always seems to never. There's always 1 or 2 who seems to get in and out of my Rushmore, but it really does depend. Like, I think that's the beauty of when you either you watch things that are new or you go back and watch something, like someone can always like really force the conversation. So like I think that's the beauty of a Mount Rushmore.
Sorry, yeah. Captain Stu Hart, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Natty.
I mean, there's arguments to be made for that Mount Rushmore, and yeah, I get what Reese is saying with it. Like, it forces you to get down to the 4, like the 4 that make move as a fan. And I think that's where I came with for my picks, and Nick, you with your picks. And obviously Reese, you with your picks.
I
But
have
yeah,
two because obviously I respect women's wrestling so much that I've actually got two. So
just to clarify. So we left this to just we should have like males, and then maybe
I've
next
got a
week.
males one, yeah. I've got a men's
Yeah.
one, yeah.
Yeah, so this is strictly singles males or main event male, however you want to put it.
Singles males.
There's only one, in my opinion, like from my own Mount Rushmore that I've had over the years. There's only one women's wrestler that actually walks into my own personal Mount Rushmore that's filled with men. Only one woman, and that's Bull Nakano.
Okay, yeah, I know you've talked very highly of her numerous times, so yeah, I could.
For me, the greatest women's professional wrestler that ever lived. And
Fair.
I'm a big women's wrestling fan. Like Deonna Purrazzo, for me, is probably my second favorite. Like my favorite of the current list of wrestlers, but all time, Bull Nakano for me is number one.
That's fair. All right, so we're limiting it to males. So let's go males.
Yeah, males. Well, I think number one's very bloody easy. Number one for me, hands down, is the greatest professional wrestler that ever lived, and that is Bret Hart. Like for me, like you can think about pro wrestling in multiple ways. Do you like it for the hard hitting? Do you like it for the technical genre? Do you love it just for the intricacies of a move or a psychological response? Do you like it just for a subtlety moment like a Jake Roberts promo? Or do you really just want to watch someone just absolutely dissect someone in a way for even as short as 10 minutes or as long as 30 minutes, and you're never going to miss a beat? So, or in the rare occasion you go 60 minutes and it goes into overtime and you should never have lost anyway, but you then actually have a moment. So yeah, number one for me will always be Bret Hart. Always number one.
That's a good pick. And real quick, before we go on from Bret, do you agree with the rumor out there that Phil Collins screwed over Bret Hart?
I didn't hear this one.
Yeah. See, I got Reese to pop. This is bullshit. There's no truth to this. This is bullshit.
There's none.
Yeah,
there's none.
Just me I'm just being
it's
addicted.
Just absolutely brilliant. It's perfectly timed.
Fair enough. Who's number two, Reese?
Number two for me is the greatest pure athlete as has always been built to walk into professional wrestling. Arguably somebody who should never have been as great as he was because of what he was coming into, and he ended up proving that he is on par with the Hitman. So, second one for me is Kurt Angle.
There
you go, Josh.
Because he had everything.
Yeah,
he had everything.
He was a toss-up for me. It was between him and Benoit, but I loved Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
I still go back and watch anything Kurt Angle was involved in.
Hell yeah. He's up there in terms of like
he was super entertaining.
Oh,
yeah, like he was arguably the best. And to your point, like Reese, like I know Reese is big on the technical wrestling. Like you could argue he's the best technical wrestler in the history, right, of pro wrestling. And his bits, he was very entertaining for even the early part of his career, like the intensity, integrity, intelligence deal, like when he first came out, which reminded me of, like, I don't know if you recall, like I was disappointed when Bo Dallas did the Bo Leave thing because I wanted him to keep that up because it reminded me so much of Kurt Angle's first initial run. And yeah, like just everything he did, he was entertaining as hell. And you're like, how could I boo and hate an American gold medalist? And it's like, I effing hate this guy so much.
That motherfucker, when he pulled out when he got that tiny cowboy hat from Austin and he wore it with such pride, that's when I was like, Kurt Angle is wrestling. This dude gets it. He's entertaining. I love the milk truck. I mean, come on, dude, the guy is phenomenal. I fucking love Kurt Angle. A great pick on that one, Reese.
There's an even funnier segment that he does, and it's during his best run, in my opinion. This is TNA run, and it's leading up to the match of champions at Hard Justice. in 2007. So obviously Kurt's IWGP and he's TNA World Champion. Samoa Joe is the X Division and TNA World Tag Team Champions, and he obviously Kurt at the time was just a greedy narcissist, and it's brilliant because he was the best wrestler in the world, so it makes sense. And Joe was arguably either second or third, depending on your preference.
That
at
was
the
the
time.
headbutt when he first came in with the headbutt and all that.
That segment was dope, yeah. So this segment happened a year later, and basically Kurt, because he's a cocky little bugger, goes for a sunbed in his own locker. He gets a sunbed, and obviously Joe steals everything. And obviously Kurt comes out to the ring in nothing but a robe, sandals, weird sunglasses, and a red thong.
Yes, now I remember. I understand that, like now, like my timing on that was great.
I don't think. And let's be real. He takes a muscle buster in that. Let's be real. He takes a muscle buster in that, and I don't think anyone could, and actually make it both real, entertaining, and also you want to see Joe beat the shit out of this guy.
Yeah,
just for that alone.
He kept the bat and balls tucked away.
Josh. You took the words right out of my mouth.
True.
Come on. If that doesn't give you a Mount Rushmore nomination, I don't know what does.
Yeah.
Touche. I think the exact same thing. Oh God. Enough nuts and balls. Reese, who's number 3?
Number 3 is, I don't know if you guys have mentioned this guy, but if not, it's all right. It depends on how you view the business, and you talk about impacts in so many ways, and he's not directly Stone Cold in a way, but he was, in terms of his culture and where he's come from, he's changed the landscape in terms of appeal, in terms of look, in terms of striking the camera, in terms of having good matches, but also being direct in different ways. So my third one is somebody that just holds everything I like about mixture of wrestling. I love technical wrestling. I love high flying. I love hard hitting. So number 3 for me is also the greatest masked wrestler that ever lived, and still is, thankfully. So number 3 for me is Jushin Thunder Liger.
Interesting. It is not AJ Styles. Kat thought it was AJ Styles, but yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I totally get where you come from with that. But go ahead.
I have never seen a masked wrestler on his level. I've never seen a masked wrestler come close, and that includes the likes of Rey Mysterio, Ultimo Dragon, Juventud Guerrera, Psychosis. Like, there's so many greats out there. Even Eddie Guerrero, to be fair, Tiger Mask as well. Like, there's so many great masked wrestlers, and I will never disparage them in any way, shape, or form. But for me, Liger had everything, and he done it whilst looking like a far more cool Power Ranger than the crap that came out in the mid-2000s. He managed to keep the look brilliant, and there was one of him in a green Power Ranger outfit from 1995, which is absolutely sick. But it's not just that. It was later on, and it mostly became exclusive to a man who doesn't make on my Mount Rushmore. But if I just done a Japanese wrestling Mount Rushmore, the guy who I'm about to say would absolutely be on it, and that's the Great Muta. But in terms of the whole thing, I love Muta that much that Liger eclipses him. That's the standard I have, and there's a moment that's absolutely brilliant. Is when Muta goes back. He goes back to Japan from another excursion in the late 2000s, and he has a match with Liger. And obviously, at this point, everyone just knows him as Keiji Muto. We're not calling him the Great Muta anymore. We're just calling him Keiji Muto. And he has a very violent match with Liger, so violent that he rips the bodysuit off his torso. He takes the mask off, and you see Demon Liger, and it's full on skull paint, and you're like, holy shit. And that popped me massively as a fan, and I'm like, yeah, and I had and I said this. I was watching this with a friend of mine at the time when this happened. But we were watching it, and obviously, like, we were like Sting fans and all that stuff, and we still are. But we literally turned around and went, "I think Crow Sting has just been topped." Like in that one moment, that was because that's our benchmark in terms of like the number one of like face painted wrestlers. Obviously, like Sting and Crow Sting and all that. But like that one moment, we literally went, "Yeah, Crow Sting has just been topped," and it's really cool. If you ever get to see the chance, yeah. If you ever get to see it.
I want to throw this, Josh. Josh, do you have any Jushin Thunder Liger memories or thoughts?
The only thoughts I have, I'm gonna say that I haven't looked into him much past the old Game Boy Advance game. He was always the guy.
Naturally,
I picked him. But I do know that a lot of the greats that you spoke of do speak of him highly. That match you were speaking of with Muda, I remember seeing that in a magazine when I was at my local drugstore just waiting on something, and I was flipping through it, and I remember seeing the image and just being like, oh shit, what are they doing over there? And then that took me on a tour of finding more Muda stuff and things like that. But here's the thing, I may not know his work of art, but I do know the amount of respect that is demanded when you speak his name.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm great picks. And this is what I love about the idea of the show. When we get especially a fan from overseas, we get to hear maybe some of the people that the Americans don't know, or you may have only heard of. So if you like what Reese had to say and any of that piqued your interest, fucking dive into it, man, and then come back on here and tell us about it.
Exactly. Reese, we got another caller wants to run in. So that was your 4 Muda, or is your 4, like, tell us your 4th and we'll let you pop out of here.
So number 4, like I say, there's always like somebody who can like get in and out, and it forces the conversation, and it's hard because it's always been between, well, even like in the last 10 years, 15 years, two talents have forced their way into a conversation with somebody else who's always pretty much stolen that spot for me. And those two names don't make it on my list, but they hold a special place in terms of how I enjoy wrestling, and those two are Okada and Omega. They don't make my Mount Rushmore, but they easily could in the next 5-10 years, because they have that capacity to steal the spotlight, funnily enough. But number 4, and again, in terms of like how this order goes, he is my 3rd favorite wrestler of all time. But I'm dissociating, obviously, because we got to really slot in like my Japanese contingent in the right way. So my 4th spot is also my 3rd favorite wrestler of all time, and for me, he's also the best all-round talent that I've seen from a lower weight class. He's the most exciting in terms of redefining himself. He's got, well, his moves obviously now being stolen by a Chilean star. There's so much that actually adds to the business that he continues to keep redefining, that people want to blossom. And without this man, in terms of my childhood, probably my favorite wrestling promotion never kicks off properly, because he is the face of it, and he hasn't even been in this company since 2014. But he is, when I look at pro wrestling, he is, like I mentioned about Brett, like I mentioned about Kurt, like I mentioned about Liger. He didn't just transform the business, he actually gave new life to it. Like, he brought new life to New Japan when they really needed someone from that overseas bracket.
Jericho.
took Ring of Honor further. Nice one. That was a great moment, to be fair. There's elements to the business that really stands tall, and he reinvented the Bullet Club. It's my favorite version of Bullet Club as well. But I just think when I see this guy, I just can't not say, how can you not have a list without this man? And yes, Catherine is correct. Number 4 on my style, on my own personal Mount Rushmore is the phenomenal AJ Styles. And I've had the pleasure of seeing him wrestle live twice. Same with Angle. No. Unfortunately, I've never seen Brett wrestle live. I've never seen Brett live, but I've seen Angle and Styles. I've seen Omega. I've seen Jericho. I've seen Taker. Seen Raw, all that. But the first match I ever saw of AJ Styles, he did a spiral tap on a steel chair.
Yeah. No.
He's never done it since.
Yeah, I mean, he's exactly the type, like, when you do, like, if you play the WWE 2K games and all that, like, back in the day, like, Absolute Era, like, he is the mold of what you would create your superstar to do, all these high-flying, Josh flippy-doos, right? Like, all those moves, but in the ring, he could do all the technical moves that you wanted, and he had a great personality to go along with it. So I totally could see, especially, Reese, like, knowing how you are with in-ring and stuff like that, I totally agree. Josh, your thoughts?
Hey, AJ Styles is the ultimate package of a wrestler. TNA, when they stepped on the scene and I seen him in a 6-sided ring, I fucking lost my mind. It was how do we get AJ Styles on every screen in America? As soon as I seen him, that's when he had short hair and wore shorty shorts. I know what you're talking about. TNA AJ Styles was a different breathing beast. Going over there and reforming and redefining the Bullet Club, and then what we got in WWE. AJ Styles is a god in that ring, and I'm going to be really sad. It's going to be really sad. I hope he gets like some of Shawn Michaels' career where he's backstage doing something amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, when people say like, "Oh, they're like," I'm gutted for 2 people that are specifically retiring next year. I'm gutted for Tanahashi, and I'm gutted for AJ Styles. Like, I'm a big fan of both of them. So when Cena retires on the 13th, I don't care. I'm already looking past that. I don't care. I'm looking to make sure that AJ Styles' retirement run is done properly.
Yeah.
That's my only thing, is I want that to be done properly, because if it's not, I'm going to flip.
I think it will be. I think he's going to get the parade that he deserves.
Yeah, I think he's got at least...
I just hope that he can get, like, he gets the permission to say, like, I want to go and do one match in Ring of Honor. I want to go and do one match in New Japan again. I want to do one match in TNA, and just let him do it. Because quite frankly, he can transcend those companies again. He can transcend the talent that he would work with, and he would put them over.
Yeah. Well, never say never, because John Cena and Vince McMahon did show up at an indie show and fuck shit up. So
exactly,
it could happen.
Exactly. Never say never. Reese, nice list. We like it. We'll catch you next time, buddy.
Definitely.
Peace out, Reese. We got another one up, and I'm going to personally get in trouble if I don't let this person on.
You're an asshole. That's completely the opposite of what I said.
I know.
I did ask Nick if I can come on, because I really love the 2 of you doing this concept. And again, Josh, you can have him for a little bit. I love the 2 of you talking. I love this chemistry. Like, I don't want to be here I'm going to troll your chat, but I don't need to be on this every week. But the 2 of you doing this, I love this very much.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Here for this. But quickly, because it's 8:00. Obviously, I agree with all the Shawn Michaels stuff. He's the talker, wrestler, bumper, backstage person. Like, you want him on your team. Whatever year he is in, I just want him to have hair, because him bald freaks me out. Michaels, obviously. Second,
All she cares about is hair the most.
Yeah.
I'm very. We've talked about my trauma about hair on this. Secondly, I think maybe more firstly for me, Macho Man Randy Savage. I think
very good.
everyone, jerks it to Hulk Hogan. Never cared for Hulk Hogan. Me growing up, like my dad was a Randy Savage person. Like Randy Savage is my guy. Again, I sort of the prototype or the early high flyer, early because his elbow drop, like early, like good technician, like him again, him Steamboat all day at Mania. Yes, please. That's all I want to see. Again, the intensity that everyone talks about, like Ultimate Warrior with like the intensity, like Macho Man's more than that. And him and Miss Elizabeth all day, the royal couple of wrestling. I love my wrestling couples.
Oh, yeah.
Thirdly, I'm going Jake the Snake Roberts. If you want, you talk about your talkers. I pulled this up because I really love this fucking quote that from his promo. If a man has enough power, he can speak softly and everyone would listen. Like his promos he was so soft spoken and so talk, but so like for him to like basically invent the DDT, which everyone uses, and it shouldn't be the transitional sort of thing that it is today. But like when he started doing that was groundbreaking. Like, and we did meet him. He's probably the only photo that we had at our wedding, but the sweetest of sweet men when we actually met him in person. But like, he was also, to me, I don't want to say first, because maybe that's too much, but like, to me, that first heel that was sort of like cool, that you wanted, like, I know he's supposed to be a baddie, but I want him to fucking do this and DDT a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Were we supposed to curse on this show? I curse all the time.
I'll say it all the time.
Yeah. But like, he's like, we were gonna go. Like, Jake the Snake for forever.
Well, real quick, but without Jake the Snake, Raven doesn't have a finisher. I mean, with Jake the Snake, then the Raven DDT, the even flow.
Raven effect, or the even flow was so awesome though too. He did it the way he did it was actually very similar to how Jake the Snake did it.
Yeah, he stuck their arm out and then drove him in. I loved it.
Well,
yeah.
Well, the thing is most of the guys don't like now they flip over, and it's so much more impactful now when you stay straight down and your body goes limp. It looks so much better.
Yeah, I don't like his promo game, the DDT. That there's so many variations today with the DDT. Again, it's like a promo skills, and then obviously him bringing out the big, like, remember the Royal Rumble? He threw it in underneath, and like everyone like jumped out of the ring. Like he was so quiet, but there was such a gravity to him. Like, take the Snake forever. Like I can go on like all day.
The favorite uncle in a family when he finally shows up to the family get together. All the young ones are like, "Oh, Uncle so-and-so is here. Oh, come on, let's go hang out with him." And he's probably hungover.
That's us in our family. We're cool like that.
Literally, there's a photo of when we met Jake the Snake, is the three of us together. He was the first non-family member we told we got engaged. And he like grabbed Nick. He got on his knees and grabbed Nick. He's like, "You
and gave me a DDT."
And then gave him a DDT. So but so much went wrong with our wedding. But the one photo that actually printed out right was us and Jake. And I feel like we had it on our card table. And I feel like his family was like, "Oh, that's Nicole's uncle." And like my family was like, "Oh, that's Nick's uncle." Like he looked like a weird uncle grandpa in our photo.
That's what he is.
Great.
Jake the Snake forever. The last one quickly, because I wanted to do a kind of newer person or younger person that I think of will be on our Mount Rushmores. And I know I will get a lot of shit for this, and I tout him all the time on our show, but I'm going Seth Rollins. I think him, the ROH kid that came in when WWE was dog shit, like 2009 to like recently, like it wasn't great. And then like him coming in and like the Shield coming in and wanting to do something different, wanted to have different matches that kind of broke that WWE style that was, 2012, 2013. And I think the evolution, and again, I think he's sort of, maybe Chris Jericho should be in this spot, but the constantly, I'm going to evolve my character. I'm going to do something different. I'm the Shield. I'm the Messiah. I'm the good guy. I'm the bad guy. I'm going to come out in ridiculous fucking outfits. I'm going to laugh and everyone fucking hates it. And he's such the, like, I can be a good guy. I can be a bad guy. But as long as you're reacting, I don't fucking care.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe 10, 15 years down the road, maybe people will think higher of him or more of him. I know, like, I adore him, but I think it's someone that has, and if you listen to, it was Cody Rhodes' podcast, and he had Damian Priest on there. And apparently they were doing a house show a couple years ago, and it got like snowed in, and like certain producers couldn't be there. And basically Seth like produced the show of like putting matches together, putting the card together, and like, you do this, you do that. And it was just like everyone saying like, if and when he retires, then he'd be such a good producer. And I think that's the mind, maybe like the Shawn Michaels or the Triple H, is that like, you're so good at doing this, then you're going to be even better like behind the scenes, like bringing up young kids. Like obviously he does have his wrestling school, so I think he's like very much I love a wrestler's wrestler that like, we see on our show, all the boats, all the ships, all the things, that someone that like loves to bring people up. So as much as I know he's a heel, Seth Rollins forever. So that's the quick and dirty of my 4.
No, that's a great pick. Seth is definitely, he's a superstar that we were witnessing the rise of. The Shield debuted in our backyard down here in Indianapolis. And ever since then, all I hear about is the Shield's coming back. So obviously it's had impact, but Seth in himself had impact. He is the one who made it better, the dog shit. He took the dog shit and he made gold out of it. And then we got to watch him rise into this actual natural superstar of the Ric Flairs that we fell in love with the big entrances, the big moments, the everything has to be big. That's Seth Rollins today. And yes, I totally agree. He should be on Mount Rushmores because we are going to see him become one of the greatest and talked about as such.
That's a fair point. Yeah. When you talk about like the aughts and the last 15 years. Yeah, he's someone who's kept the company together and kept it going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well put, Nikki. Well done.
Right. I love you guys are doing this. I love you both. I love this. And this last time I don't need to be on here. You guys are you're killing it. I love this.
Yeah. She's coming back. We're bringing her back.
She canceled herself.
She can't get out of it. She can't cancel herself. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. But you are allowed to smash the old like.
Yes.
Do all that fun stuff. Yeah, he had a vision in 2014.
Yeah, he did. He definitely had a vision back then.
Well put. Well, Josh, this has been a fun one as we head into Monday Night Raw here. Nice way to kick off this new concept that we're trying out here. Hopefully, we get a nice little response rate. It seems like, again, gets everyone involved. Topic everyone can enjoy. Any age wrestling fan, let us know who's your top 4. Tonight we did male wrestlers, singles wrestlers. Josh, what do you think? You want to try next week?
Yeah, I mean, so far my Monday calendar is cleared. My wife has it on the living room, and I'm told to check it. And I checked it, and there's nothing for Monday. So fingers crossed until then.
You want to try next week with the ladies?
The women of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can. But I'm telling you guys right now, this is not just a wrestling show. We are going to Mount Rushmore tons of shit. So
we can
for me and Nick to definitely go on different tangents. So we'll get some wrestling out of the way. But I can't wait to get into the meat and bones of our nerdy shit that we enjoy. Oh,
I know Nikki's already going in the 90s music.
Yeah.
One hit one. Oh my god. Don't let her get going. She's gonna go off on a tangent.
I do enjoy a good one-hit wonder.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Who doesn't? Maybe probably actually people who do it for a living and like actually put out banger after banger after banger.
Seriously. And there's people that do like that. What's that movie? Shut up, great song. Get the
Creed songs. Get out of here.
I can't believe I might have to ban my own wife from the chat.
Yeah, put her in timeout, man.
Yeah, we
Comments
need,
like
like, all-
that. What are you trying to get us arrested?
Ooh, Reese saying pay-per-views. Oh man, we could do. Ooh, there's so many.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely the start of the idea. And fans, if you're not a fan of me or you're just finding us, this is kind of me and Nick's vibe. We want input from you guys. We want you guys to be a part of what we're creating. We're just the vessel in which everybody has a voice. And you know, your fans crossing over with mine, we're going to there's going to be momentum behind this. So just strap in, give us your suggestions, let us know, become a regular, get to know us, get to figure it out. And you know, we always got wish list out there. You can just boop. I got merch.
Exactly.
You can buy boop. You can buy some merch. It'll be cool.
Exactly. Well, Josh, before we get out of here, actually, let us get out of here because we're teaming this now. We're all in this together. Have you seen Christmas Vacation?
The old one?
The only one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if there was a new one. I don't keep up on the new things. Yes, I've seen it. Come on, man.
Wait. We're all in this. I'll send you the clip later.
Okay.
You'll get the reference. It's a festive season.
It is a festive
You can
season.
support, hashtag festive as fuck.
Festive as fuck.
There we go. Josh, let's let everyone know where they can find us both. Tell everyone where they can find you.
All right, so tomorrow night, by chance, I will be reviewing Raw with Kevin Calloway, the Chaos Goblin. That's our Tuesday night show. That's where me and Kevin, we dive into what just happened the night before, and we let you know. And hopefully you get to go to the Sandbox on Wednesday, and you get to be like, I fucking know shit, man, because of Josh and Kevin. So come join us at 6 p.m. on Tuesdays. Outside of that, it is the Wednesday show. We are now changing it to the ECW watch along. That's where you can join me and House on a Wednesday watching ECW. It's a fun time. It's a great time. It's a bloody time, but you need to be there and you need to join us because it's a fun time. 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. That's when you can dive into ECW. Our next highlighted wrestlers are Tajiri and Mikey Whipwreck. We're going to the 4-way dance, and we're going to see some destruction in that one. So come join me in House on that one. That is Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Outside of that, we are changing it up, and guess what? Dynamite. Yeah, we're doing a Dynamite show. It's Thursday. It's AEW Dynamite, where we recap what happened on fucking Dynamite. So we're jumping into the AEW game. They said, hey, guys, we like what you're doing. Here's some credentials. So now we got to actually do our research because we don't want to look like dummies. Then who are you going to get your information from besides Nick and them? You know, you go to my class, then you go to Nick and Nikki's class, and then you know what the fuck's going on with AEW. So come catch me in House as we go over and review what happened on Dynamite on Thursday at 6 p.m. That is all part of the In Your House podcast network. And that's where you can catch the Sunday House Party, the biggest show that we do, the best show that we do, because you get all the opinions of anybody who's a part of the In Your House crew. And we talk wrestling for that week.
Awesome, man.
It's a lot of shit.
I know. You got a lot of stuff. But I love it. You keep everyone interested. As for me, it's Mondays now with Josh as this part of it, and Fridays at 6 with my lovely tag team partner in life, my wife, Nicole Eastern. We are recapping AEW, WWE, the week in wrestling call-in show. So we are bookending the week, the work week.
Yes.
The traditional work week, I guess. It's 9 to 5.
And go check that show out. You'll love it. If you haven't checked it out before, it's a good time. I'm always calling in on there. They allow anybody to call in. You give your opinion and have a fun time. You can hear more of Reese's takes. And nice. Reese has his own show too, right?
Yeah, I know, Reese. And you just got a new subscriber. There you go.
All right, there you go, Reese. Thank you very much. The weekly steel chair. Is that his
Exactly. Yeah.
Forever.
He also does
he
also does live streaming. Well, I don't know. Are they called live streaming games? What is that called? Streaming games, just streaming games. I don't know what the term is called.
I don't know. I'm not a kid.
I know.
You do.
I also go in. You're not. We're trying to be hip. I just chime in his chat and just completely just troll him as like a Bobby Heenan troll to announce his matches.
Well, that's what you got to do. That's the fun.
He said they're called. Apparently, they're called gaming streams.
Gaming streams. Yes.
Let's see
There we go. One of our fans got the reference. Thank you for being a nerd just like me.
Exactly. Well, Josh, this has been a blast. So it's until next week. So I don't have a really good saying it. We'll figure it out as we work. But Mondays suck. Let's make it a little better and think about the positives, right? Some of the better times, the better things, and make it Mount Rushmore Monday a fun thing, a little staple for a day that's normally a little bit of a downer. In case of the Mondays, we're going to make it a more positive day.
Hey, I'm down with you. Hopefully our fans are going to be down with us and give us your Mount Rushmore every week.
Absolutely. Well, we'll catch you next time.
All right.
Peace out, everybody.